Hey there, members. It's Rod with the Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ Stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Today is Friday, October 18th. Happy Friday. Hope you're well. And in this video, we're going to be discussing my MJ portfolio. I'll go over my current performance. I'm just going to go over all of the major ones. I've got close to 20 different MJ stocks, so I just went through all the major ones. There's a few other small ones that are only like 1%, so I didn't really include those, but we'll maybe do those at a later date. But before we get to it, make sure to smash the like, all that good stuff. If you haven't already, you can follow us over on X, formerly Twitter. Handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my platform of choice going forward. And happy 6 years to Canada. Can't believe it's been 6 years already. But Canada showing the rest of the world how it's done. And like I said, very proud to be Canadian, and it's just a matter of time. Everybody else is watching, but don't worry, everybody else's time is coming soon. So I brought it up in the Pow Group private community, and I'll post this on YouTube for members as well. But I posted over here in the Market MJ channel. So I went through my current MJ portfolio performance. Again, this is just all the major names, mostly the tier ones. And then, you could throw Oxley in there. It's not really a tier one, but very popular, and it's got a big backing from Imperial Brands. So maybe I'll do my other, I think there's probably like 5 other MJ stocks that I own, just smaller cap names. You got like Canara Biotech and BAM, but I didn't add all those up because I've got these in multiple different accounts. So it took some time to do it, but maybe I'll do those at a later date, and I'll do a whole my entire MJ portfolio with performance once we have a little bit more development in terms of price action and momentum in the space. But Tilray, and this is in no particular order, essentially I'm in the positive on 7 and in the negative on 7, so about 50-50. Tilray, I'm negative about 40% on that position, and that is because of the fact that I've been dollar cost averaging. So the stock has been absolutely destroyed, went from $67 in February 2021 down to a low of $1.45. So I was able to sell a couple of properties, real estate properties in Prince Edward Island in 2020 and 2021, and then I've been slowly dollar cost averaging and accumulating that. So I'm now only down about 40% on that position. Won't take very long before the ones in the negative start to turn positive. MSOS, I'm up 20% on that one. I was very patient, learning what I learned in 2020 and then again in 2022. I knew it's never a good idea to FOMO in, and just because USMJ was hitting new all-time highs in February 2021, while most Canadian MJ wasn't, and Canadian MJ entered into a bear market long before USMJ, that tells me that I had to be patient and learn what I learn from what I the mistakes that I made, right? And that was going in a little bit too quickly on some of these other names, and the whole sector moves together, right? Not down to the day, the second, the minute, but if you zoom out when it don't zoom out, look at the monthly, look at the yearly charts, they look very similar. And everybody said, USMJ is the only place to be. Look at Canadian stocks, they're getting crushed, and USMJ's at 52-week highs, all-time highs. And like I said, Canadian MJ went into a bear market a lot sooner, but lo and behold, the whole sector ended up catching up. Even the US names went down 80+%, right? Some names, MSOS itself is down over 90% from February 2021 highs. So again, not learning from those mistakes, you can end up making the same mistakes twice. And again, there's going to be multiple pullbacks, right? I mentioned this to Pow Group private members as well in another thread, that there's going to be multiple percent pullbacks, 80% pullbacks, right? There's going to be more. There's probably going to be at least, in my opinion, 3 or 4 more. In Bitcoin and in crypto, there's been about 6 or 7 80+% corrections. That's just since 2009. And to compare, someone in the Canadian industry and an equivalent of like a BTC would be like a Canopy Growth, right? So that's one of the OGs in the space in 2012. So I went back to 2012 and did the same thing, and there's been roughly around the same amount of 80% corrections in MJ as Bitcoin. And here's the thing, Bitcoin isn't federally illegal in the US, right? There's so much growth here, it's not even funny. And like I said, Amazon, Apple almost went bankrupt if not for Microsoft giving them $150 million in 1997. If they can almost go bankrupt and drop 95%, and they're not selling something that's illegal at the federal level, well, then it can happen to MJ. And you have to remember that it's not always the company's fault, right? It's the government and, all this, high excise taxes, high taxes, 280E, et cetera. And there is some companies like GTII, right, Green Thumb, that's profitable. So it's not just a profitability issue. It's a systematic issue, and it comes from the top down usually, right? We need the government to start embracing this medicine of the future. But the great thing is with these 80+% corrections, that means there's tons of volatility to the upside still remaining, right? Eventually, when there's no more 80% corrections, that means that the returns to the upside will be less as well. So MSOS, I'm up about 20% on that position. SNDL, I'm up 25%. And again, that was another name that I didn't really get into. And I learned my lessons from 2022 when I started to average into names like Tilray and Hexo a little bit too early. And then Tilray bought Hexo and they merged. So I was just very patient on SNDL, waiting for the whole sector to bottom out, and there was no signs of it. And USMJ was just starting to fall. So I was very patient on SNDL, and glad I learned what I learned from that, right? Patience is a virtue. Oxley, I'm up about 60% on that one. I've got an interview as well scheduled after their earnings in November with Hugo Alves, the CEO. AYR down about 25% on that one. Cresco up about 5%, Cureleaf down 8%. CGC, I'm down about 44%, but that's a smaller position as well. But yeah, CGC, Tilray getting hit the most, obviously. But, that's because they had some of the biggest gains, right? So what goes up must come down. And then the same thing on the flip side. If it's down 80, 90+%, then that's opportunity for, those 10x, those 50x, those 100x opportunities and growth, right? We've got High Tide. I'm up 85% on that one. That's the best performing one in my MJ portfolio so far. We have VFF negative 15%. OGI, I'm negative 24%. Green Thumb, I'm up 46% on that investment. Cron down 17%. And Aurora, I'm up 21%. And another one. I was very, very patient on ACB, right? I wasn't even sure if I was going to add that one, but give me a 90+%, right? What was it down? 80, 90%. We'll just bring it up real quickly here on the monthly time frame from February 2021 highs to the recent low here. We were down over 98%, right? So I'll definitely take a YOLO position. They're trying to diversify, focus a little bit more on the medical side of things. So I think that's a smart move. And, everybody's kind of differentiating themselves and focusing on different aspects of the industry, which I think is needed. And one thing I want to bring up about High Tide here is we just hit I posted this on X earlier. We just hit the cup and handle target. So I was doing some other analysis, so I took it away, but I'll draw it real quick here again. So just so you can see how it works. So here is the cup and handle. You just go from there to there and then get your measured move and I like to use the real candle bodies as much as possible. So I usually go like that. And then you get your measured move here. And it was saying, it's saying about 280. But again, you use the real candle bodies. I was getting around 269, and today we hit 275. So we're pretty much exactly where we would expect. And again, a cup and handle is just a continuation pattern. And you can see here that from the low to the high, we had a perfect bull flag as well. So literally, you can't make this stuff up. It was perfection. And as of right now, we're looking fantastic on the monthly time frame. We could still see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. We are now 10 pennies away from seeing those cross bullish. And key resistance is going to be 285. After that, nothing until 589. So this will be the first time in company history that we see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross. This name's going to absolutely explode. If you're, all bummed out, wish I would have bought High Tide, I don't own any or don't own enough, wish my other MJ names will follow suit. Well, again, what did I mention at the beginning? Not down to the day, the second, the minute, but zoom out, the multiple months, multiple years, look at the yearly chart. They're all going to look similar, right? So if we look at these charts over the last couple of years, it's been absolutely crushed, but we're starting the yearly bounce now. So for an example, Tilray absolutely crushed the last couple of years, but we're set up for a potential yearly bounce at some point soon, right? If we break 297 in 2025, then the yearly bounce will be underway. And I can say with almost certainty that we're going to start the yearly bounce in 2025. So again, it's just leaders and laggards, and we just have to be patient. Patience is a virtue. And, if you're viewing this video on YouTube, on the VIP membership on YouTube, this is the Slack community, so the private POW group community. If you want to join this, we have close to 50 members in there, and I do ticker requests day in, day out, 24/7, 365. If you want some more tailored, help, and if you want to bounce ideas off of the other almost 50 paid members that we have in there, that's where I spend all of my time. And again, you can just go to pursuitofwealthgroup.com or powgroup.ca, and you can check out the prices. They did go up. It was $9.99 per month. It's now $29.99. It was $99 a year, and now it's $2.99 a year. And it will likely go up again. So make sure to take advantage of that. Again, you don't have to join POW Group community. There's tons of communities out there, but it is beneficial to be in a community with multiple eyeballs. There's a lot of noise out there, and FUD, and just some of these main forums and public forums are very toxic and just overloaded with a lot of misinformation and people being overly bullish or overly bearish. So we try to keep it even keel and try to, like I said, give people. We're not financial advisors, but we can give you our opinions based on whatever you're looking to do before you hit their buy or sell button. At the end of the day, it's your responsibility. We're not financial advisors, so all investments have risk, and that's the risk that you are taking. You're hitting the buy and sell button, but it's always a great idea to kind of get that extra reassurance or bounce ideas off of other people who are like-minded in the space. But going into there, it's Rod with the Power Group. Thanks again for joining us in the Pursuit of Wealth. Have a great weekend ahead, and we'll talk to you again soon.